So I want to talk to you about Kata and heart-based leadership. And it's my story of how Kata came into my life. And my challenge for this short talk is, wouldn't it be wonderful if we share a beginner's understanding of what heart-based leadership is and how it can change the way we coach Kata? And so my slides are on this slide and you are now on this slide. So I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right place, but hopefully you can connect with my story. So a little bit about me. I was born in the 80s in post-communism Bulgaria, and this is me on the left. And I moved about 14 years ago to live in England. And this is my son, who is 4.5. And he's completely changed, I think, the way I looked at business, life, and my career as well. And so my purpose is to help leaders and businesses with purpose beyond the bottom line to change the world of work so that we can create a better world for our children. And just another second about me is the fact that I don't come from the lean world. I don't know anything about lean. I didn't know until about a year ago or about 18 months ago. And what caught me into the lean and how I discovered Kata is I understood it as a human-centered philosophy and a way of thinking about the work with people at the center. And so I had to learn the process analysis. Starter Kata was specifically hard for me because I didn't have anything to do with lean before and with manufacturing. So I want to talk to you about heart-based leadership and what that is. And typically when we look at descriptions online, there might be a few different schools of thought, and it typically starts with like the concept that a leader is one that can hold the team up, the one that can believe with the right support that people are capable of their best work, and with the right support they will also rise to the occasion on their own. So they actually feel good about being accountable, and it's really about creating an environment where people can be their best. What also is typical about heart-based leadership, and there are other names for it online as well, servant leadership, sapient leadership, and all the kind of different books out there. But it typically talks about the fact that leaders don't need to know it all. They don't have all the answers. When you don't have the answers, you can say that, you can admit, you can provide transparency, and actually ask for help and seek authority, seek help regardless of authority. So, and actually what this crisis has shown us that kind of leadership style of I know it all is not a good one to help us, and actually we can make more progress with collaboration and with care and compassion. What also characterizes heart-based leadership is the fact that these kind of leaders and this leadership looks at the whole human self, and it actually appreciates that well-being and wellness is super important, and actually we need to take care of people as their whole selves. That means physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and not necessarily put things in the kind of work and life buckets, but look into integration. And actually, what it also suggests is that we need to be be able to look in the mirror and accept yourself as you are with all of your traits, and that not to strive for perfection. And actually, when you do that, you model perfection, which is the opposite of kind of ability to learn and improve. So these are some of the characteristics that define heart-based leadership. And when we look at them, the thing that we'll notice about them is it's really just about being a good human. And this is my kind of interaction with heart-based leadership and looking at companies that were looking at the whole human, the wholehearted human, and also culture overall in organizations started around the same time that I looked into Kata. And so that's the kind of intersection I wanted to share as well, that why I started to coach Kata is I understood it as that human-centered philosophy, looking at work and individuals at the center of business. And I wanted to coach so that I can learn to listen to people with more care, to continuously improve out of regard for people, and to provide better value for people. However, when I first started to coach Kata, what I started to do is I looked for long-term goals and how to break it down. I looked to zoom in and out on the process. I looked to see facts and data and conclusions and obstacles. And really, as you would expect with a beginner's mindset, I was really trying to learn the technicalities and the tool. So I was really focused on the tool. And I found that to be quite challenging, actually. It didn't align with my values. It didn't align with me. So I had a kind of turning moment whether I would continue to coach Kata. And it's why I share it, because something changed when I understood that I need to really focus my coaching onto the human. And actually, I decided to combine what I knew from heart-based leadership techniques and the clients that I had where I was serving just heart-based leadership, to combine the coaching Kata and see what happens. So what I started to do is I changed the language to include emotion with cognition. I asked for deeper purpose and value system before entering any challenge. I looked to see the belief system and the values and the kind of broader life context. And I also wanted to show my own vulnerability before I asked for my learners one. So I would often pull the curtains to my own thinking and explain what I was looking for, what I was thinking, what I was worried about, before I asked the learner to reveal their thinking. And I offered support and compassion and empathy, and even to the point in some moments with some clients where appropriate, I looked at breathing techniques and mindfulness techniques and other check-in techniques to help us get grounded and centered before we entered a coaching cycle. And so what happened? I was looking at the whole self, and I was so what happened is I noticed the learner would follow the pattern and not argue against it quicker. When I started to adopt those heart leadership techniques, the way they adopted Kata was quicker. I also noticed that the coaching was becoming less of a directed conversation and more of a collaboration. I tracked higher scores on my coaching cycle's emotional evaluation question at the end, which I'll mention to you in a minute. And I felt greater satisfaction with my own coaching myself. But also the duration of my coaching projects with clients exceeded the kind of first challenge where I experienced that at the beginning, and were more opening a conversation into a broader cultural transformation conversation and encompassing a broader range of services around the whole human and leadership development. And so still when I mentioned human, wholehearted human, or the heart and heart leadership, some people don't take it very well. Some people that come from different backgrounds think that this is too weak and too feminine, and maybe not what a really performance-based business would look like, or it's not based on science. But actually there's so much science I found about the heart and cognitive relationships between cognition and emotion. And I've taken that from a journal, which I should reference in the notes, but this is the heart rate actually during frustration. And this is one during appreciation. And this experiment was done within a minute of a conversation with somebody when they were observing their heart rate. So there's actual heart science. When you look at the whole human and emotions, it impacts us scientifically as well. And so with that, I want to conclude this and really start with a few of the modifications that I did initially to my coaching heart records. Sometimes we have the 5 questions, and sometimes we talk about question 0, which is what is the challenge. But I always had a question before that, which was how do you feel today? And I would kind of monitor that over time as well and see any patterns. And then I also, at the end, I added the question for myself, how do you feel about the coaching cycle today? And I asked my learners to rate it from 1 to 5, 1 being really frustrated, angry, upset, and 5 being really excited and happy. And I was tracking those emotions. Like I mentioned, they changed as I changed my approach. I also asked them about appreciation and frustration, because it was really interesting what I was observing with the link between that and learning, and how can I help you? So that's my talk.